different for me in that I had to do a little research on several different words. And as a result of that, we went back and looked at an ancient document that helped us to understand what was normal for that time. In the sense that this behavior, this lifestyle was normal for that time. Let me begin by reading verse 24 again. And I'm going to read it down to verse 32. I'm really not that ambitious today. I just know God's going to change this and do what he wants to do. I already know that, so I'm okay with that. In verse 24, therefore God gave them over in the lust of their hearts to impurity, so that their bodies would be dishonored among them. For they exchanged the truth of God for a lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. And everybody said, amen. For this reason, God gave them over to degrading passions. For their women exchanged the natural, that's an underline, highlight, italicized word for you if you write in your Bible, function for that which is unnatural. And in the same way, also the men abandoned, that's another highlight, italicized and circled, the natural function of the woman, and burned in their desire towards one another, men with men, committing indecent acts and receiving in their own persons, now that sounds deep, the due penalty of their error. And just as they did not see fit to acknowledge God any longer, God gave them over to a depraved mind to do those things which are not proper, being filled with all unrighteousness, wickedness, greed, evil, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, malice. There is gossip, slanderers, haters of God, insolent, arrogant, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents, and without understanding, untrustworthy, unloving, unmerciful. And although they knew the ordinance of God, that those who practice such things are worthy of death, they not only do the same, but they also give hearty approval to those who practice them. I just want to wrap my mind around for a few moments the divine transfer. And I have, and then we'll get to our text today. I have I had asked last week that you would take a few moments. Everybody, quite a few of us raised our hands, said we knew someone who was practicing homosexuality. And I had asked that you would ask them to tell you how they got started. You know, what happened. You know, what had happened to cause them to live that kind of life. And I told you about a friend of mine who is a lesbian, and the thing that I discovered was that you know, she was married and the man cheated on her, and this other woman befriended her and continued to do so, and invited her over at those critical times. She felt really low, and then the holidays came, and wanted somebody to spend the holidays with, and so started spending holidays with this friend of hers, and started staying over again. And one hug led to one kiss led to one touch, and one touch led to a life that now she lives. And and I know you have your stories too. And one of the beautiful things that we have is that God has given us all such compassion. We're so compassionate. And so I think sometimes that we're so compassionate that we're blind. You see, we would rather, you know, I did the wedding the other day, did the counseling, the wedding rehearsal on Friday, Saturday, did the wedding, and just a busy weekend. But remember I told you that I wasn't going to marry them because I knew that they weren't unequally yoked. Well, the girl got saved, by the way, and so at the wedding, the brother said to me, "I'm so glad, sir, that you pushed them to that point." You see, we live in a day and time where we're so compassionate that we believe more about what we think than what God said. We place more value on how I feel than how God feels. And so I think we do ourselves a disservice. And as a matter of fact, we don't become much good at all to God in that state. And so what I did is, not only did I have my own personal testimony from my friend, but I also was in touch with Oasis. There's a ministry down in Orange County that works with homosexuals. And so anyway, there's another ministry. It's called Ex-Gay Ministry, and it reaches out to the hub of critics around, but gives credit to God. And listen, check this out. I want to read something. This is the founder. She's a woman. Simmons said, she doesn't care who wins the political battle over same-sex marriage. She's a humble Christian. She stays focused on God's healing power. Those who seek her help are told that a heterosexual switch may never happen, or that they may endure years of celibacy and struggle. But the strains of same-sex attraction can end. She says they did for her before she married a man 2 years ago. She was a lesbian. We believe when people grow in their relationship with God, let me read that again, because we have some heterosexuals in this place right now, and this is not going to be a whole push on them. It's on everybody in here. It's an indictment on all of us. There are some in this room right now who are not growing in their relationship with Christ. So don't put it on them. It's all of us. All right? And she says, we believe that when people grow in their relationship with God, that their temptations will be lessened. See, as I'm growing in my relationship with God, all of those things that would draw me away from God are no longer as powerful as they used to. So that's a clue right there, how you can tell if somebody's growing in grace and knowledge of the Lordship of Jesus Christ, that they're moving closer to God. And that there's some things that just don't matter. They just don't matter. And so she says, she's 30, who identifies herself as a lesbian for 10 years before starting her ministry in Park Street Church. Starting her ministry in the church. And this morning was a great lesson. We were looking at David and what have you. There are a lot of ministries right in this room, but people are afraid. And they're afraid to start a ministry because ministries are always